صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. صدق الله العظيم.
Brothers and sisters, now we're going to have Marcia, and I request Brother Abbas will ask him to please recite the Marcia. Salawat par dijiyega.
بے چین دل تھے حضرت باقر کی یاد میں، سامان غم تھا فرقہ پاک اعتقاد میں، تھا جشن عید خانہ اہل عناد میں، گویا بہار آئی تھی باغ مراد میں، گویا بہار آئی تھی باغ مراد میں، خوش تھے کہ بارد شجر مدعا ہو، ایک تازہ گل علی کے چمن سے جدا، ایک تازہ گل علی کے چمن سے جدا، دن رات اہل شرعی سی تدبیر میں، خیر البشر کا نام نہاد موروث، اور خلق رہ نہ سکتی تھی بے حجت، بخشا خدا نے جعفر صادق کو عز، بخشا خدا نے جعفر صادق کو عز، جوہر کشائے تخت کرامت ہوئے، رونق فضائے تخت امامت ہوئے، رونق فضائے تخت امامت ہوئے، رہتی تھی اس کو شام سحر فکر قتل، جلتا تھا آفتاب امامت سے روشنیاں، تھی آرزو کے خانہ حیدر ہو پھر، بے امام خادم سلطان دین، بے امام خادم سلطان دین، سادات مبتلائے بلائے عظیم، جعفر ہو پاک موسی کاظم یتیم، جعفر ہو قتل موسی کاظم یتیم، ظالم کو بے گناہ سے منظور تھی مکہ نے عراق میں آخر طلب کیا، کرتا رہا ارادہ قتل شاہ خدا، اجاز تازہ دیکھ کے کر دیتا تھا رہا، اجاز تازہ دیکھ کے کر دیتا تھا رہا تیغ ستم نکالتا تھا جب نیام سے چل سکتا تھا نظر دعائے امام سے چل سکتا تھا نظر دعائے امام سے صد ہے سنگ دل کو نہ کچھ اس کا تھا مہمان میرا ہے گلشن باقر کا نام منصور کا بھی ترک وفا میں وہی جیسے یزید و ابن زیاد زبور جیسے یزید و ابن زیاد زبور کس طرح ظالموں نے ستائے حسین کو لوٹا بولا کے گھر سے شہ مشرقین کو لوٹا بولا کے گھر سے شہ مشرقین کو حق کے ولی کا دشمن جانی تھا روز سب آفتوں سے بچ کے وطن میں جب آئے وہ ظلم ہو گیا کہ مدینہ ہوا انگور میں امام کو دلوایا زین انگور میں امام کو دلوایا زین سرو ریاض دین کا عجب حال ہو گیا سرسبز باغ دین کا پامال ہو گیا سرسبز باغ دین کا پامال ہو گیا بے چین دل تھے حضرت باقر کی
برائے خوشنودی امام جعفر صادق علیہ السلام بلندتر صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
I request humbly Hujjatul Islam Maulana Haji Yasin to please address us about the life of Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam. Salawat, love. نعرہ صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبو القاسم المصطفى محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الدائمة لأعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Ya Allah, inshallah, accept our amal, our dua, inshallah, and reward us for our presence in this majlis. with the shahadat and martyrdom of our beloved Imam, our sixth Imam, Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
And may Allah inshallah make this a bakhira and the work for this world and the other world inshallah for all of us. Our condolences on the shahadat of Ra'is of Maktab of Shia, Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam, first and foremost to the Imam of our time, Imam of Asr, and to all the mu'mineen and mu'minat inshallah. One of the important aspects of our beliefs about Islam and about our Imams and Ahlul Bayt, which beliefs and aqa'id is the most important part of a human being, human life. All of us. The core, the most important aspects of your life is your beliefs. Different aspects. You see that ayat of Quran are full of indications directly and indirectly about your beliefs and your aqa'id, about tawheed, about risalah. It keeps improving that and keeps encouraging people to improve their aqa'id and beliefs. If today we see that group of people, or maybe younger ones, sometimes older ones, doesn't matter, they don't practice, they get away from Islam sometimes. The main reason is weakness in beliefs, aqa'id. When you believe in something firmly and strongly, you don't leave that, right? You know 100% that's correct and you should not leave it. Even if 1,000 people come and tell you, it's opposite. Right now, you know some mathematical points. You know that 2 times 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, right? If the whole world comes to you, you believe in that, right? You put these 2 together, it will be 4. If the whole world comes to you and says, no, it's 5, you say, I'm not going to accept it. Why? Because your belief is strong. What prophets tried to do is to strengthen our beliefs. What Allah Quran tried to do is to strengthen our beliefs. One of the most important parts of our madhab and our maktab, the followers of Ahlul Bayt, is to know our imams, to know who they were, their strategies, and what they did in this world. To know that they were not a group of good people. No, imams were not a group of good people, that they were smart probably as well, and they did a lot of good things. No, it's not imam. It's way above and beyond this definition, right? It was not a group of scholars, very muttaqi and pious people that they tried to do. No, it's way above this, right? You see that each and every single of them, it's the maktab, it's the school that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He wants for human beings. Of course, it should be organized. Each and every single of them, they had a strategy, they had a specific organization, how they're supposed to, they should do da'wah, tabligh, and promote the true version of Islam and maktab of Ahlul Bayt. Every single of them, they had a strategy on this, including starting from Imam Ali sallallahu alaihi wasallam, going to Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wasalam, going to each of them, they had different strategies. Imam Ali sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's establishing the concept of imam for people, and with the concept of khilafat, right? People doesn't understand who is imam at that point, all the way to the time of Imam Raza says. So it's mostly about the topic of the khilafat that Rasulullah has introduced this. We see that Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wasalam, he is having the strategy of sulh and peace, and revealing the picture and the face and the ugliness of Bani Umayyah through what? Peace and sulh that he made with these people. See that how trustworthy and trustfulness we are, and they are betraying us, right? Reveal that. When it comes to Imam Hussein, you see that the strategy is to what? Stay in front of them. Go to the war. Show to the whole world who they are and how corrupted they are, these people, right? With what? Sacrificing his own, life and blood and his own family. It's a strategy. When it comes to Imam Sajjad, it's not that just we had a group of Imam. Yeah, unfortunately, Imam Hussein in Karbala, he didn't have to do anything else, and then they beheaded him, they cut his head off. And Imam Hassan, he didn't know what to do, na'uzubillah. So he said, okay, what else we do? So we do the sword and peace. No. It's a strategy. When it comes to Imam Sajjad, he is a strategy to spread out the world And the word of Islam and Maktab of Tashayyu is what? Through what? Du'as. You can't imprison Imam. You might have provide a very difficult situation for Imam that you're supervising him and you don't let him to contact anyone, but he is able to teach his ma'arif through what? The dua. Every single Friday, inshallah, more and more brothers and sisters to come on Fridays that we have Friday Salat and Jum'ah prayer that we're following one of the du'as of Imam Sajjad Makarim al-Akhlaq. We see how in detail Imam is talking about our daily life. When it comes to the time of so far, we see that it's all about pressure against Ahlul Bayt, killing them, betraying them, and all the things, right? Because the situation is not ready. Imam Hassan, he cannot do, if it's a nice word or a correct word to do, there's no other options to do because his own commanders and soldiers are betraying him. Or he's going to go to what? If Imam Hassan, he has probably 40 people, 30 people will make another Karbala. He doesn't have anyone. His own commander, with 1,000 and 1,000 people, he leaves Imam for 50,000 or 100,000 coins from Mavi. He's living here. It's nothing, right? We see the situation is not ready to promote and establish and tell people about Maktab of Tashayyu. All the way at the time of Imam, that the situation is a little bit better. Bani Umayyah and Bani Abbas are fighting with each other now. It started to happen at that time, right? And at the time of, so Imam Baqir started to establish the Maktab and the University of Tashayyu, let's put it this way. And Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, now at this time, that these two groups, Bani Umayyah and Bani Abbas, they are already in fight with each other and trying to kill each other. That's a great opportunity for who? For Shia to be able to be established at that time, right? And the strategy that Imam has at that time is what? To spread out the knowledge and to establish the Maktab of Ilmi Maktab, the knowledge of Islam and the knowledge of Maktab of Tashayyu. Today they call us Shia Ja'fari. Why do you call us Shia Alawi? We don't have Shia Husayni or Hassani. Kullum Nurullah, they're all the same, right? Because the opportunity that was provided in order to tell people and educate people about the true Islam and the Maktab of Tashayyu, which are the same, is actually happened at the time of Imam Sadiq. That he can have 1,000 and 1,000 people come to his dars, his lessons every day. 4,000 faqih he educated. 4,000, imagine. Right now, how many faqih we have in all? Maximum, we said, for example, 50, for example, let's say, right? Few of them are famous, the rest are not famous, right? 4,000 faqih he trained Imam Sadiq, right? The situation is ready. So what happened here is that we see that the truth is that Imam Sadiq it does not belong to Shia. It's a mistake. Any of the leaders of the four Maktab of Ahlul Sunnah, they are directly or indirectly educated and trained or impacted by Imam Sadiq. If it was not for the sake of Imam Sadiq, they wouldn't be there. I want to prove it. Abu Hanifa and Malik ibn Anas, they're two that are the direct students of Imam Sadiq, right? Directly are educated, they learn things from Imam Sadiq. Abu Hanifa is saying, if it was not for the sake of Imam Sadiq, لَحَلَكَ نُعْمَانِ. Nu'man is his title. If it was not for the sake of Imam Sadiq, that what he taught me, I would have been gone and perished. I didn't know anything. He taught me everything. And now he learned a little bit, he stood up in front of his ustad and teacher. Now I know what I do, right? Malik ibn Anas, Malik, the head of the Maktab of Maliki, right? Look what he says. He says, he's the head of the school of Maliki, right? Actually, he has a Muwatta'a, that the first book of Hadith of Ahlul Sunnah is from Malik. It's very interesting, right? And mostly they're in Africa and in that area of Maliki people. So he says, مَا رَأَتْ عَيْنٌ وَلَا سَمَعَتْ أُذُنٌ وَلَا خَطَرَ عَلَى قَلْبِ بَشَرٍ أَفْضَلْ مِنْ جَعْفَرِ ibn Muhammad. زهدا وفضلا وعلما وورعا. Look, listen what he's saying. He's the head of the Maktab of Malik Ahl Sunnah. He's not a Shia, right? He says, no eyes could see, no ear can hear, no hearts can possibly think and get this opportunity that finds anyone better than Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq. In what aspects? In his zuhd, to be not attached to this dunya, fadl and importance of him, and ilm and knowledge of him, and taqwa and piety of him also. There are those people who are standing in front of him. There's a brother, if you know these things, well, you're not following him. If you're saying that no one is higher than him, ilman and taqwa and everything, then why you're not following him? This is from the books of Al-Sunnah, not Shia, by the way. Right? It's in his own books. Look at this. If you know that no one is better than, when he says no one, then he's including myself, right? If no one is better than him, why you're not following him? Are we making a very difficult equation here, or is it a simple question? A very simple question, right? When Abu Hanifa says, La halak al-Uman, if it was not for the sake of him, I didn't have anything. Then if you know this thing, dry, and others indirectly being trained and impacted by Imam Salih Alaihi Wasallam, the knowledge that he's giving to people. So Imam Salih Alaihi Wasallam, a few points inshallah I want to talk about him and his life tonight. One of the most important things that Imam Salih did at that time, the opportunity that he provided, he put together the intellectual maktab at that time. That he started telling people it's not all about fighting and power. Islam is about knowledge. All the way from the time of Rasulullah, that's the first opportunity that they find to tell people Islam is the maktab of fikri maktab. It's the intellectual maktab. You have to sit down and learn. Even at the time of Rasulullah is not really the opportunity, because the war and mazawat and situation, then go to Ahlul Bayt, as I said, it's all wars and problems and issues, right? That's the first time people are sitting down and learning about Islam from them, right? Maktab, that they can learn from Imam Salih. Second, it's the first time that Imam Salih is training students. That is teaching them, if you want to keep a maktab and a school of thought alive, if you want to make a religion alive, you have to train professionals in that. Imagine if we didn't have scholars nowadays. Right? We didn't have Jose Ilmiya, we didn't have, what happened? Who was supposed to tell people about the Ma'arif of Ahlul Bayt? The one who established Hawza was who? Imam Salih. The one who established Hawza Ilmiya, that one of the branches is Qom right now, and Najaf and other places, Imam Salih established this by training students and Tullab. He did it himself. Third, he opened the path of ijtihad. He started and opened the path of ijtihad. He told people, now go learn, become faqih and mujtahid, and learn about ahkam of Islam and our traditions. Now you can go to the different religions in this world, and based on our knowledge, do ijtihad and find the hukm and give it to people and help people with this. It's not something a group of scholars, they try to do this, right? The other one, he showed to people the significance and importance and the fada'il and attributes of Ahlul Bayt. And you see 4,000 people sitting in the dars of Imam Salih, so they're learning from who? From this Imam. From this Imam that he could do this. Therefore you see that here, there are, actually the true Islam is introduced by Imam Salih alayhi salatu, by the students that he established. Many, Hisham ibn Hakam, Mu'min al-Taw, Zahra, Hisham ibn Imam Salih and Imam Baba, Yahya ibn Ayyub. This is students. Hisham, he was 13 years old. Imam was sending these students to the most professional atheists. At the time of Imam Salih, it was a time of debates. A lot of atheists, a lot of deviated groups popped out at that time, right? So they know what to do. Other people are not trained. Other Muslims are not trained to stand in front of the atheists at that time to debate and to. The only ones who can do, Imam Salih, he didn't do himself. He was way above that. He was sending his students to do munazara with these people to talk. One of the students is Hisham, 13 years old. So I'm a youth. You don't have to be 50 years old, you know. The Imam was proud of him and what he did in this situation, you know. So when you look closely, you see that what Imam did at that time is that some other, you know, significant things. The first time that we see that Imam saw that, as I said, the importance of Ahlul Bayt, the first time that we see that Shia started having the matches of Azab for Imam Hussein publicly is the time of Imam Sadiq. We don't have any matches until that time, because the situation is not ready. Imam Sajjad, he's crying himself. You hear that he's crying himself and telling people he cannot have any matches for his father. Why? They're all supervising. They're trying to kill him. They don't let him have it, right? He can't even have two people come and talk to him. He has to, you know, through the altar people. We see that term of Imam, specifically the term of Imam Salih is the first time that it's established. The first time that the criminal file of the Shahadat of Zahra is up and open is the time of Imam Salih. Up until then, they can't talk about this. The situation is not ready. The Imam Salih says, Wallahi, the reason of the Shahadat of our mother Zahra is what? That hit and Darba that was the slave of that guy, he hit our mother Zahra. You see, the situation is ready now to talk about the truth. This file is open now. Up until then, they can't open it. But at the time of Imam Salih, I see that it is happening, they're talking about this. So, he did many things, Imam Salih and trying to teach people about this, teach people about the aqaid and the beliefs that they have to follow. Imam says, our Imam, it's very interesting. I'm going to mention a few points about the lessons from Imam Salih and then go back, inshallah, some other points. He said our imamat is established on 7 stages or 7 pillars. Our imamat is established and confirmed because of 7 different pillars. Number 1, rifq and mudara. When it comes to other people, we get along with others. This is for us. We get along with others. They can live next to us. We don't force them. Abu Darda, he's an atheist. He's an atheist. He keeps coming to Imam Salih. He keeps debating with Imam Salih about the existence of Allah or not. In Hajj, during Hajj, after that, he keeps coming and talking about this thing to Imam Salih, right? At the end, he didn't accept it. At the end, he didn't accept it. He died being atheist. But Imam Salih, anytime he was coming very nicely and kindly, he was talking to him, showing him the truth. And at the end, he didn't accept it. Oh, you want to show him my brother, right? He said, "Ma hada bashar." He came back from visiting Imam Salih, and his friend says, "Did you meet Ja'far ibn Muhammad?" He's like, "Who was he?" This is Ma hada bashar. He's not a human being. That's what I can tell you. He's not a human being. He's above that. What he is a believer. Brother, if you know these things, why are you not following him? Look, the jahl of human being, the jahl of bashar. The same thing when it comes to, that's interesting, their enemies are talking good about it. The same when it comes to Imam Hussein, he had the head of Imam Hussein in his hand, in front of this Mal'oon, in front of Ibn Ziyad, in the palace. And he's coming and says, you have to fill up my pocket with coins and silvers and everything, and dhahab and tala and gold, because I killed the best of all human beings. He's the best. His mother is the best. His father is the best. Ibn Ziyad kicked him out and says, Malum, if you know that he is the best, why did you kill him? The jahl, look at this. Wallahi, today is the same as well. It's not about that. Many people, they know the truth. Many people, they know what is haq, what is truth. They are sacrificing haq because of some reasons, personal ideas. I mentioned that today, what's that, Friday. If you know something is halal and haram, If you know going to that majlis is haram, if you know participating in that majlis is haram, doesn't matter if it's the wedding of my son or my daughter or my brother or someone else. If you know that's haram, do not sacrifice your deen because of your families. Quran says, haq and justice is for those people that they say justice, talk based on justice, even if it's related to their relatives and families. Isn't it kind of the same category? They knew who is Imam and they were against Imam. I know what is truth, what is halal and haram, I'm against it. I'm not practicing it. Isn't it the same concept? Tell me. They knew haq and they know haq. They knew batil and we knew batil. They practiced against haq, we practice against haq. So don't think we're too far away. Not us, inshallah, others in the street, Don't think this time is different and at that time only they know who is Imam. Once you know something is true, once you know this is halal and this is haram, this is wajib, it's the same concept that you have to follow. So one is the 7 things, right? One, raf and mudar, getting along with people. Second, taqiyya. It's one of the situation. The majority of our imam, they can't live in the situation, they're looking for one excuse to kill them. The followers of Imam, they're looking for one excuse to kill them. 2 of the followers of Imam Ali Salah, very interesting. 2 of the followers of Amir al-Mu'mineen, they were arrested. They forced them, they says, you have to do bira'at from Amir al-Mu'mineen. You have to ignore the vilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen. You have to say that you're against Imam. The first one, he saw that the sword is against his head. He's like, this really is not a joke. He says, yes, okay. I'm against Ali. They didn't believe in this. I'm against him. The second one says, no way. I believe in Amir al-Mu'mineen or whatever. Bismillah, Allah kill him. They killed him. Imam heard. What do you think Imam says? Imam says the first one, taqiyya, rajulun aqilun. He's a very wise person. You don't believe in that, but you can hide it. The second one is a mu'min, he rushed to go to heaven. Amazing Imam Masum is pointing out. Is a mu'min, shaheed. Is a mu'min, he rushed to go to heaven, right? Or you can, the same thing Imam says, about others, some other people. Taqiyya is for this mu'min. I know that, for example, there is a panel, there is something, someone is asking a question. I know all the phones are, recording it. It's going to be on Instagram and Telegram and WhatsApp and everyone, you're going to hear about this. I don't have to say everything, right? What is the situation? We'll talk about this, right? Taqiyya is about this. But sometimes, some points, there's no point for taqiyya. You have to defend haq, which, it's a different situation, it's not our topic. Third, ta'alluf and ulfat and being kind to others. Imam says, our imamah is established based on this. Kindness to others. You heard a lot of the stories about this. You heard about Imam Hassan. I keep saying that the guy came to Medina cursing Imam Hassan. He was kind to him. Keep happening these things. Either their enemies, they have seen the kindness of the Imams they're doing. Or their friends, they've seen it. How many so far? 3. Getting along with people, taqiyya, kindness, waqar, and prestige. A mu'min should have waqar and prestige. The woman and men should act like a man with waqar and prestige. A woman, Muslimah, mu'minah, should act as a mu'minah with prestige and waqar. Quran says to women, don't change your tone of voice when you talk to non-mahram. You might be healthy, but there are some sick people that they can be having wrong intention. Look, it's about the dignity of a woman. A man should come and beg you, right, to be able to talk to you. Now don't you try to change yourself for the sake of attracting. The same for men. Have your dignity and waqar. Someone came to Imam and says, "Why you're so arrogant?" Imam says, it's not arrogance. This is waqar, and it's what? Prestige. This is ubbuhat. This is the honor that Allah gave us. We have seen it, you have seen it, We had a Zahra, he was 90-something years old when he was starting. He didn't have any power or anything, it was just a start when he was training the students. Wallahi, any times that we were going to go to see him in his office, we were like shaking. than what he's going to say. He had a very thick glasses, we were just looking down. Just being at his presence was difficult because of his iman, because of his prestige. It looked like it was the last day of our life. If we were absent in one of the classes and we had to go and ask him to give us permission to go back to the class. It was the rules. One absence, shar'an, is haram to go back to the class. You have to come and ask. When we were saying, why did you miss one class? Ahkam al-Khadim. That's it. That was the end of our life. You imagine now we have a problem. We have to go stand away. He's 90-something years old. We were all young. We were shaking and we have to stand in front of. What was that? Some of the students, they want to run away from the school sometimes. His office was in front of the door. They couldn't even move. So he's saying, what is it, the prestige? The other one, حسن الخلق. Imam is saying, our حسن الخلق, the way that we talk to people. إنك لعلى خلق عظيم. The way that we talk to people, حسن الخلق is attracting people. The other one, wara, the piety. We're not attached to this dunya. People are saying it. The lifestyle. They came to Medina and says, who is Imam Bawal, who is Imam Salih, who is Amir al-Mu'minin? They can't find who is who because of the position that they're sitting. It's not that the Imam is sitting on the top of Majlis, somewhere on the chair. The others are, no. All the same situation. They told Imam, you're sitting, you're eating with your slaves. That's not nice. What's different? We're all the same. And the last one, ijtihad. That being a faqih in deen is not only for some people go to Hawza, by the way. Mujtahid, yes, they become mujtahid. But every single one of us, we should become faqih in our deen. It's on our level. Faqih according to your need. When it comes to ahkam al-salat, you should become, knowledgeable in that. When it comes to ahkam al-wuzu and ghusl, at least we call them mubtalabih. Those topics that are related to your daily life, you have to become the expert in that. One of the ways we have ahkam sessions, what is it? It's not just you always rely on the scholar. No, you should be knowledgeable in that aspect. And don't think that's the only one. No, you do more research, you follow it. At least take care of it. When you go to your company, don't you know all the rules? At least those rules that are related to you. Not all the rules maybe, you're not memorizing. But you memorize those things that are directly and indirectly related to you. So, very interesting. So Imam, again, this is not only what they did, was not only for the sake of the knowledge to tell people about the knowledge and establishing knowledge. The Maktab of Ahlul Bayt is ta'aleem and tarbiyah together. We keep saying ta'aleem and tarbiyah. Ta'aleem is education, teaching them, letting them learn. And tarbiyah is what? This spiritual aspects, this ibadah aspect. We have to change our terminologies, inshallah. You might see that I will start changing the terminologies that we're using for certain things purposely. We might not use the secular terms anymore for certain things. Instead of education, we should say adab. Adib, adab. When we say education, the first thing comes to your mind is what? Secular education. It's against everything and anything. But the Maktab of Islam and Ahlul Bayt, they use adab. And tarbiyat. Tarbiyat is what? What the Imam is going to say there. If you recite Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. The Imam says, I reviewed and thought and I found that human beings and Bashar, they have certain things that they lost. They're missing certain things in their life. It's a very important hadith. Make sure you listen to this and then you remember this. Human beings, they have certain things that they are missing them. They're looking for them and they're missing them. It's a very important hadith. Imagine the most delicious food. The most delicious food that you can imagine that you love in your life. If you are sick, God forbid it, if they give you that's the most delicious food, you're not going to enjoy it. No matter if the best cook, the best situation, if you are sick, you would not enjoy it. If someone is sick, nothing, they don't taste. You bring the soup, you bring the food, you bring the biryani. I don't want it. They don't even want it. And if they eat it, but forcing, they throw up. They don't feel the lazza and the enjoyment of something that is super delicious for them. I'll finish with this. Imam says, why sometimes people do not taste the lazzat and the joy of ibadah and worship? Quran, recitation of Quran, salat, all those things should have a taste. We should feel them, we should taste them, we should be enjoying. Reciting Quran. This is why I see that this is missing among human beings and people. That when they pray, when they recite Quran, they have to force themselves. Something is missing here, right? What is this sickness here? There should be a virus. The guy who is sick and doesn't enjoy that food, there is a virus. No? What is the virus here that you pray and you don't enjoy it? You recite Quran and you don't enjoy it. You drag yourself to something khair, and that's good by the way. But you don't feel that you're enjoying it. Sometimes you feel you're enjoying it. Alhamdulillah, that night was amazing. That a'mal was amazing. That situation, yeah. Something is going, what is it? It's related to your ruhi and qalbi and spiritual connection, right? Something is going on. You're so complicated. Well, Imam Salih says, طلب اللذة في العبادة فوجدتها في ترك المعصية. And that similar hadith from Rasulullah says, your sickness and virus is committing sins. Imam says, I looked for the lazzat. Lazzat is what? It's pleasant, enjoyment, that you enjoy something that you do. I look for that. I found it in, look for the enjoyment of ibadah and worship. I found it in living and not committing sins. If I don't enjoy it sometimes, it's because of what? There's amal inside of it. So why don't we 40 days, for 40 days, try to get away from home. 2 days. If it's difficult for someone, I'll finish with this. If it's difficult for someone, 10 days. 4 10 days. 1 10 days, second 10 days, Thursday. But if you can, 40 days of controlling 2 things. 1, your eyes. 2nd, your tongue. These 2 important things. For the sake of Imam Salih. And one is the Rais of our Maktab. He said, 40 days try to control it. We have diet, right? It says 40 days, don't eat this, don't eat that, practice, exercise. Can we for 40 days control this tongue? No qaybah, no lying, no breaking the hearts of someone, no looking at something that is haram, no looking. We'll see how it goes. Then Imam says you will feel the lazzat. Rasulullah says, "Qaddu absarakum tarawna al-ajaib." You lower your gaze, you will see something ajib, something so strange that you have never seen, you will see. But just control. Alhamdulillah, we are so blessed to be in this maktab with these leaders. Someone like Imam Salih. We're not in the maktab of the leaders. They themselves have issues, they themselves are corrupted, they themselves are looking for dunya. We're following the maktab, the head of this maktab, the rais of that maktab is someone like Imam Salih. That the whole world are sitting in front of the dars and the maktab of the knowledge of Imam Salih. Sallallahu alayhi wa Rasulullah. How cruel and unjust is that we see that today the grave of this great Imam in Baqi. At night you see a lot of lights around the Baqi, but next to the grave of Imam, there's not even a single candle next to the grave of Imam. At this mal'oons, this generation of Muawiyah, generation of Ali Umayyah, Bani Abbas, destroyed the shrines, the haram of Al-Baqi, They can't even see the power of Imam today. They don't even let you go to Baqi. When you go, you see the grave of Imam Sadiq. You unconsciously start crying for the grave of this person. Anyone even a little bit impacted this world, knowledge, science, there is a grave, there is a situation, there is a nishana for them. But this great Imam, Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq, with this knowledge, with this situation, you put his grave this way. You want to cry, they don't even let you cry when you see the grave of Imam Sadiq. He was ma'soom, he was mazloom in his time, and he is mazloom up until today as well. And that's Mal'oon. Mansur al-Bawaniqi, he ordered his soldiers to go and grab Imam Sadiq and bring it to me. He said, go at night to humiliate him. Don't knock on the door, go over the wall. Grab him towards me. He says, Imam was 65 years old. He's an old person at that time. They were grabbing Imam towards the palace of Mansur with that situation. At the time that he poisoned our Imam Sadiq. Wow, imagine if Imam, he could live longer, he could benefit the society longer. But one thing, when it's the last moment of the life of Imam Sadiq, he is in his deathbed. Around him in his room, all his children are around him, you know that. But you know that La yawmka yawmaka ya Aba Abdullah. At the time that your Imam, your Master Hussein on the ground, his children, his sister, they are all seeing that how they are beheading Imam and share on the chest of Imam. That is why Imam Sadiq is crying for Hussein. That is why all our Imams and us were crying for Hussein. That La yawmka yawmaka ya Aba Abdullah. The children of Imam Sadiq are respecting Imam. But imagine the children of Hussein are running away from different directions because these Mal'oons are looking after them to hurt them and to hit them. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة. Inshallah we have tawfiq to go to ziyarat of Baqi, inshallah. Visit the beautiful shrine of the beautiful grave of Ahlul Bayt. It's so simple but beautiful. But when you see you crying for your Imams, how amazing is that you can say 2 rakat salah next to the grave of Imam. Inshallah Imam Mahdi will come. He will establish the shrine for his, inshallah, jealous over there. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة وموضع الرسالة ومختلف الملائكة ومهبة الوالي ومعدن الرحمة وخزان الإلم ومنتهى الهم. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج والعافية والناس ومد في عمره الشريف وزين الأرض بطول بقائه واجعلنا من عوانه وأنصاره وشيعته. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, thabbit qulubana ala deenik. Ya Allah, give us tawfiq to be among the true followers of Imam Sadiq. Ya Allah, give us tawfiq to be among the supporters and zuhur of his son Imam Mahdi. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, help our children, our generation, always be in the path of Ahlul Bayt. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, whoever they have hajat, they have requests, Ya Allah, give them all khair hajat. Those who are sick, cure them all at this moment. Those who passed away, send the thawab and the Lord have this message to the soul. رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات.
Ya Sayyid, 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 Ya